Hello, everybody, and welcome to NinjaChris Silly History. And this month, the month of February, we are talking about the bicycle, the wonderful two-wheeled machine that is very common in the world today. People all over the world will be riding a bicycle. People don't like driving cars or something, or can't afford to run a car because they're very expensive and not great for the economy as such. So, quite a lot of people nowadays decide to ride a bike for the sheer key of it being more better for the planet, because every day we're driving our car, or every time we use our car, we're not doing brilliant for the economy, is basically what I'm trying to say. So it's more better to ride a bike, provided you've got good balance. Me personally, I probably end up falling over before I even got to the bike. The fact of seeing the bike may end up making me trip over. I'm not terrible with that. I don't know what it is with bikes, but I just can't seem to keep my balance. I fall over on a push scooter. So if I'm going to break my ankle on one of those, heaven forbid that I'm going to probably break every bone in my body if I went and tried to get on a bike. Though, tried it as a kid, didn't really work, not really bothered because I'm all right with walking. Legs work just as nicely, and that's good exercise too. And I realise I've been rambling on and got some history to do. And, well, to start things off with some history, I'm going to go right back in time, about 12,000 years ago, give or take. Because I know I could just start with the bicycle, but I've decided we're going to look at the base components. So in 10,000 BC was when we invented the wheel. Essentially, humanity invented the wheel to use on vehicles, I assume, like carts and pulling stuff along. It's a lot easier than probably how they used to drag things along. Probably wasn't as easy. I mean, I've seen games which basically give you a general idea of what it'd be like, but nobody can really be too sure. Either way, they start using wheels probably sometime around the Stone Age, Mesolithic, or Neolithic, depending on where we are in that time zone. I think it's more Paleolithic with the 10,000 BC, but it's where the wheel was constructed, I guess, and then people just started chucking it everywhere, and then they started just rolling it around, and it became a thing. And eventually, it turned from being stone, and over many millenniums, we ended up with steel, iron bike wheels, stuff like that. Apart from the bike wheels back then, we start genuinely with making the bikes in like 1817 with Carl Dreys. He invented the Draysine, that bike, the one that has no pedals at all. So you're gonna have to push it along. Like, considering I was just saying, like a push scooter, that's why there is something in common. Because the first bike, you used to have to push it along, like you were on a push scooter, because you had to essentially use footsie power. You just pushed yourself along. It works. It works. Well, it did for a while. At least until they realised they couldn't get enough speed because the wheels were a bit too small, so they couldn't get as much rotation in it as such. And then we had like everybody trying to copy it, sort of, because we had Scottish people, something like Kirkpatrick Macmillan. Apparently, he had a go at it, but it wasn't until the invention of the high wheel bicycle, which we know today as the penny farthing, which gets its name because of the big wheel and the little wheel, because it's kind of like a penny and a farthing. So I think that's meant to describe the wheels, because I meant one's bigger than the other. So I think that's where they got the name penny farthing. So it goes off the coins situation. I think that makes sense, sort of. It's just a big wheel to me with a tiny wheel. And apparently it's meant to be faster because it's a bigger wheel. So you're meant to roll on a bit longer, essentially. And you're meant to roll on pretty fast. The only problem with bikes back then is you never had any brakes. And they still rolled them down hills and stuff. And ye gads, I've seen them trying to get on top of a penny farthing. They always seem to fall over. They literally have to jump up to get onto the saddle. And they also had something a little bit before the penny farthing, which was called a bone shaker. And it did exactly that, because it was really practically, it was just a steel wheel, no tire, and you pedaled where the pedals were, because that was the first time they actually introduced pedals onto the bike, this bone shaker thing, because, well, it literally shook your bones, because they used to have the pedals on the front wheels, so you used to sort of reclined sort of situation, but then pedal with your feet, but the pedals were actually on the wheels. So whenever you hit a bump in the road, you felt it. I mean, I know hard suspension, but it's probably the equivalent. But apparently, people genuinely broke parts of their body from riding on a bone shaker. So it's not essentially just a bone shaker, it's a bone breaker. So that was terrible, I know, but hey, it's the truth though. So it was the bone shaker, and that's how we led to the penny farthing, because they wanted to they thought making it a bigger wheel. Oh, and the fact that the wheel it was actually a more comfortable ride when you got on the penny farthing. I think it's kind of, in my eyes, that's kind of a reward. If you can get on the bike, I think you deserve a comfortable ride. I think they need brakes as well, but hey, that's the way it was back then. It wasn't until the 1890s before they started actually putting brakes on that. But they invented something called the safety bike, which is basically an older version of what we call today our modern bike, because they were both equidistant, leveled up, circular, same size, just ride along, obviously using the old equipment and stuff that you had back then. But they also, around that time, they invented the pneumatic tire, which was in 1888. So it went perfectly on the bike, the safety bike. That's why the safety bike was so good, because they put tires on it, and it was a pneumatic tire from a guy called Dunlop. I wonder, and his tires are still great today. Everybody still uses them. Well, if the company that you're buying from uses them, then great. See it in a lot of racing cars still, and everything, they still use that. It's a shame at Donington Park they got rid of that big Dunlop Bridge. That was a shame. That was a shame seeing that's gone. Used to love walking over that as a kid, the Dunlop over that when I used to go to a lot of race meetings, because it was always great doing that, being able to cross over that and just actually look at the racetrack below you. I think there was little gaps where you could actually see the track from that view, and it's spectacular being at races. And you got a sweet. I got a sweet where they came in with food. You can't lose with that. If they're coming in bringing you food, it's mostly only sandwiches and stuff, but hey, it's food. I didn't pay for it. But when you've got a client called Ron Haslam, he gave us the tickets to go in a long time ago. So why not take it up on the advantage, eh? You get free tickets to race meetings. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. If you get free tickets to anything, enjoy every second of it. So yeah, where were we? Oh, I forgot to mention we had the first geared bike in 1871, which is what led to the safety bike. So bikes didn't have as many gears back then, but it was good to keep you a nice balance of speed and everything. So essentially, the safety bicycle was just what we call a modern day bicycle, standard bicycle that we have. Just as a turn of the century into the 20th century, they invented the racing bike, something they called a racing bike. So basically you could ride that bike at a lot of speed. In 1896 was the first time it was used in the Olympics, for the first Olympics. Also started using it in the Tour de France. Can't remember exactly when the Tour de France started, but I know that's how it started. They decided, let's do a bike race where it's all level, where everybody's got an even level bike, and we'll just do long distance endurance. So the bike has improved year on year. So every decade or so, there's always something new going on about it. China, we're jumping ahead. We're going because it kind of fell out of popularity, but they occasionally had a few bicycle crazes. So one of the bicycle crazes was probably around 1896, was when everybody got a bike, and they're like, I got to get one of those. So everybody was buying bikes. So, but unfortunately, it's things like the wars that kind of made things difficult. I mean, back in like 1870 and 1871, there was the Franco-Prussian War, and because Karl Dreis was a German, so the bike's mostly over in Germany. So the Franco-Prussian war kind of destroyed a few velocipedes, and a velocipede is basically any vehicle that has two wheels and that is man-powered, that you have to push along yourself, essentially. So a bike is a velocipede, is what you have to push along. So when the safety bike came out, it was no longer a velocipede because it doesn't need to be pushed along. You pedal and it moves once you pedal. So you're no longer having to push it yourself. So you're pedaling and, well, it'll do the work for you. You'll just move with it. But yeah, I suppose they can loosely still be called a velocipede, but most people don't. We just call it a bicycle nowadays. It makes it easier. There's also many other versions of bicycle sort of situations out there. I mean, you've seen these unicycles and stuff. I'm not saying that's a day-to-day commuter bicycle that you go around the streets with. I mean, if you could get hold of a unicycle and you want to do it, then so be it. But don't come to anybody if you fall off and break your neck or something. Heaven forbid. But it's all fun. It's all fun, preferably if you do stay balanced and everything. Just unicycles are mostly for the circus. You find them in clown bicycles. They have little different things where, oh, you know, clown bicycles. They have little flowers and stuff coming out of them. Anything with a jokey situation. All in good fun. Now that's in good fun. The clown bicycles, the style. There's loads of bicycle types. Sometimes you get bicycles in sport as well, not just not just motorbikes and stuff. It's generally just sporty sort of thing, because I think they got stuff like a form of polo with it and stuff where they just whack stuff around. So it's basically something in like the early 1800s. It was always horses that they used. So this Drace fella decided we need to replace the horses. So basically that's how we ended up with that sort of thing. And now I mentioned the gearing system. I can take you back again into 500 BC. Now, I'm not saying that in 500 BC they had brakes, they made brakes, but it inspired the brakes system because they invented the idea of epicycles, which is what turned into epicyclic gearing, which is planetary, or what they call it is planetary gearing, because in the center is what they call the sun, and there's little bits around the outside that they call the planets, and there's a bit around the outside as well. I can't remember the exact names for everything. It's a very complicated gearing system. Either way, in the modern ones, that's the sort of gearing system that they use. So when you're pedaling along, that's the gearing system you're using. It's epicyclic gearing. Maybe I should just keep calling it a planetary gearing. It's a lot easier than epicyclic. It's quite a mouthful to get through. Anyway, I've not actually said hello to anybody yet. Can I have a drink? I'm gonna just see who's here. Steve Smedley, it's great to see you here. That's a nice surprise. It's Sam, great as always. Anna, Philly Mouse, great to see you here. Welcome. Jeannie, very good to see you. Been a long while since I've seen you here. I definitely haven't seen your name up here for a while. Cecilia, great to see you as always. Terry, I'm so glad you could make it here. So great to have you back with us. Sam, yes, I mentioned you. You prefer four wheels. Yeah, I think a lot of people will prefer four wheels. It's good. It's good to have you all here. I think I've said hello. Biking is great exercise, but you're too lazy. You had 3 different stationary bikes, and one was even electric. So you just got on a ride. That's fine. That's something. Actually, electric bikes were a lot earlier than probably people would think they were, because apparently there was some back in time, but actually no. It's motorized bicycles that came around in like 1876 or something. I get confused because they're both things that can move by just putting a clutch and stuff like that. It depends where you're going, because I realise electric bicycles are more of a new thing because they're trying to look at economy as always. So turning everything electric away from gas powered stuff. But yeah, motorized bicycles, very, very interesting, because I nearly made the mistake when I was doing the research. I nearly made that mistake of, because they can easily be done between motorcycles and moto bicycle. Because obviously a motorcycle doesn't have pedals as such. It has a combustion engine, and you put throttle forward and it goes. There is no option to pedal. At least with a motorized bicycle, it still has pedals on it, but you can use a combustion engine as well, because that's the motorized bit. Probably not as fast, but I think it's something that they used in World War II, because, well, sometimes they wanted to move around. It's a military bike, so I think they had a little bit of power. Hey, I wasn't expected to see that, but I'm not surprised that in the World Wars they decided they're gonna use bikes. Why not? Hey, it works. Donington Park reminds me of a topic racing helmet. Oh, racing helmets. Yes, very, very interesting. I will consider that. I gotta say, Steve, you really kind of surprised me. I hope you're feeling better. Oh, Joanne, hello. Good to see you there. I just see you sneaking in there. Is a velocipede not a cousin of centipede? Oh my. Oh, and now we've started. I have not got it. I've not got a unicycle. Heavens no. Not something you want me here. Don't do. To be fair, I prefer feet. Prefer just using my feet. It's a lot easier for me, and less dangerous. Oh god, all fun and games here, and I've worn myself out already. No, a velocipede is just a vehicle where you push along. Simple enough. Or at least to some, you think. The thing is, with bikes back then, they didn't really have brakes. Oh, and by the way, I hope Mark is here. I hope Mark is watching, because gave him a bit of a talking to today because we bumped into him. I hope he's watching. Or was funnily enough, he's not coming to church tomorrow, so we won't be able to. So we won't be able to goad him if he doesn't show up. Oh, thank you, Terry. I try and help out the best as I can, but you can all get involved in your experiences with bikes and stuff, because there's many different styles. Because obviously most of us know the common bicycle nowadays. All the wheels are the same size and usually equal. obviously new bikes gradually came in. There's, for example, like BMX bikes, which is a more modern, which only existed from the 1970s. So BMX bikes is a kind of newish idea, and probably one of the, from what it looks like, it's more dangerous because they don't have bikes, and there's the flatland ones where they bounce around. But BMX actually stands for bicycle motocross. It's quite clever, actually. It's quite clever because bicycle, motor, and then you've got the cross for the BMX, which is what it actually means. So bicycle motocross, because they have something in the Olympics where they actually race each other, actually have a little race against each other around a set circuit. And Britain nearly won it this year, that bicycle motocross. Ah, well, here's what it is. We didn't win. Either way, so yeah, BMX bikes. So you don't have to do fancy tricks, but they can be for speed and everything. I'm not sure if you can get ones with brakes on it. I'm sure you probably can, because a lot of people tend to ride them. Some of them have got that little bar, so if it's a kind of, if you want to do tricks and stuff, you can kind of grind. So maybe that's just on games or something. I see you've got these little grind things that stick out of the wheels, these little special bits, so you can grind across things. They always look so cool. I always loved the look of BMX riding. I'd never be able to do it. I'd be too scared to do it. And BMX bikes actually came before mountain bikes, because in the 1980s was when we first got our mountain bike, because, well, it had to have a different sort of gearing setup. So, well, mountain bikes, they need a special gearing so they can get it up a hill and down a hill and be able to make the brakes work. Because obviously if you're pedaling while riding downhill, yeah, you're looking for a bit of trouble with that one, because obviously you're going to keep going faster, and if you hit something not out of shape, you could be going faster than the bike, essentially. Probably not the best plan. So make sure you get the right bike and get the right setup. So if you need to go up and downhill, see all these bikes, these mountain bikers, it's just out wondering, how do they just keep doing that? How do they manage to keep going up and down and up and round? So they have special setups. I mean, we don't see the inner workings of it all, but they keep adding all these things, because quite a lot of our modern bikes, the modern race bikes and stuff, they have something called a derailleur, which helps with the chain, helps that go through a bit more easier, so it keeps the chain going around at a certain speed. It's mostly for your gearing, so you can have like 8, 11, 12 sort of gearbox, essentially, so you can have more, you can shift through more gears, so you can change your speed, change your setup as you're going around. Those little timer things, you just change it and it changes how your bike is set up instantly. But that's the way bikes are. That's the way professional bikers are. They need a specific setup to get them through. Oh, thank you, Sam. Thank you for the haircut notice. Yeah. I always wear my hat, so you never got to see it, because I actually got my hair done. Actually had it done last week, but you only see me with my hat on. So yeah, Catherine. Hey, Catherine. It's great to see you here. I see you pop in occasionally. It's good to see you. Oh, Joanne, you're out cycling today. Very good. They say it's really good. It's really good to get out and cycle, because apparently it's good for your heart, and It's good for your blood pressure, keep the blood flow going. Apparently, they say at least an hour every day, it can basically, well, automatically make you healthy. But I had a nice little health breakdown because one of the videos I watched, literally showing you all your blood pressure going. You've got. Yes, that was part of it as well. It strengthens the back of your legs every time you do it. Even when you stop from riding, your legs and that are still healing and still getting stronger. So you never really know how healthy you are until you give it a go. So if you can ride a bike, it's one of those suggestions that you at least do an hour, if you can, if it's your sort of thing. Oh, Steve, I was just seeing that. How did the outreach? Oh, well, the outreach went well. It was not that many of us. It was only the three of us, but we did very well. We managed to have some great conversations, which is great. Which was great, Steve. And it's a shame that you weren't there, but don't ever say that you let us down. You've never let us down. There's a lot of people who can't come. I mean, look at Jana and Solomon. I mean, they both went off skiving and left us hanging. What do you think? What do you think about that? Our two leaders. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm kidding. I love you guys. Don't fire me. It's good to see you here live, Steve, though. Oh, blooming heck. I've really been giving it the big, haven't I? Or is it just getting warmer? It just getting warmer. Oh, I just seen that, Philly. You'll come over and get. Oh, Mark, you're in for it now. You're getting my little old ladies coming after you. Oh, you don't want them coming after you, trust me. They'll give it to you straight. Celia, you like doing research? No? I just find it good for passing the time. And I'm just glad that you get on board with the bicycles, because that's what you need for health. Because it's one of the many ways to get your health. I mean, there is these stationary bikes, which is what we call an exercise bike, but they're just as good. But they're good as well. If you haven't physically got a bike, or you don't go out the house, get yourself an exercise bike, and you can set it up for specific things. Some of them have an incline and decline bit, so you can make it like you're going up a hill if you want to. All these fancy technology stuff that you can get. I don't know if anybody's got one of those cycle machines, or maybe you go to spin classes, because that's all about the bike cycling thing. Maybe you do that sort of thing. Yes, the scenery always stays the same with the exercise bike. Yeah, I suppose that is the downside. I don't know. Whatever room you're in, paint a picture. And then once you've finished with your exercises, white it over and then paint a new picture. Provided that would mean you'd have to be very into exercising, but you'd also have to be very good at art. Who knows? You might have a lot more skills than I know about. I only know what you are. Mowley, hey, I think I missed you out. Hey, it's good to have you here as well. Just wonder how many I've missed out. Oh, Mark, you are here. Good to see you. Thank you for letting me know that you're here. Thank you. That's it. Not going to get my old ladies after you now. I'm going to keep my crew away. but you get to meet them. And they'll all be nice to you, so be gentle. He's a good man. And this has been a very, very good topic to choose because, well, it's good for people. It's also good for health conditions as well, because I know I did my mental health last month. But its own way, exercising, riding a bike can be good for mental health as well. So, in essence, they all kind of flow into one, but any kind of exercise, I suppose, can make your mental health better because it's a good distraction from the world around you, essentially. But the thing is, as long as you're doing something, because I always find it's easier to do something. I mean, I'm not a bike rider, but a lot of you are, and that's great. If that's something you can do, you get your exercise, brilliant. I'm just glad there's bikers out there because, well, bikes are a very important thing in this world. And as you've heard, those watch from the start, you've heard where bikes have come from, where it started as a bike without, it didn't even have pedals. You just basically walked with it, or freewheeled, essentially. I think that's what they call it. You basically pushed off and let it roll. Though preferably not do it when you're going downhill, because if it hasn't got brakes on it, then you better hope it's a soft landing at the end, or else you're going straight into a wall. But I think the last Draisine is stuck in a museum now, so I don't think you'll be riding that. So, because that's the whole reason why they invented the safety bicycle. It was the start of the modern age bicycle. So that's great. Oh, Anna, you had your passport ready to come over there and have a stern talking to him. Oh dear, you saved yourself there, Mark. Next month it will be spring, and hopefully Mother Nature gets the memo. Wow, we're coming into that time already. Spring. Is that spring the 26th of March or something like that? Is that? I'm not great with dates and stuff, but yeah, hopefully the weather plays well. Oh, so close. March the 21st. Ooh. So, Mark, you've had a few bikes then. Maybe you could do with a few more. Remember, when we went round to your house, you had one with the slim wheels. Looks kind of like one of those that you see around the velodrome. One of those racing bikes that are always like you've got to hold it together, and it's kind of like they're only one gear system though. And yeah, they're used to just going round in an oval shape, but hey, that's a form of racing bike that they do track bike. It's a track bike, that one is, because they have to be in single file because, well, it's apparently good for aerodynamics because there's less weight to go over. So wind, the aerodynamics is the wind. So if you clench in, there's more wind that can go around you, and which essentially propels you forward. So something like that. I'm not fixed wheel. Right, I think I read something about that, but honestly, there's so many ones that are so similar. But yeah, you know more about bikes than I do, it seems. I'm only going off what I've read in the research, and they had a list full of bikes, and it was blooming massive. Oh, there's a bike that I like the look of, one that I might be able to do with. It's called a recumbent bicycle. Now, I like the look of that one because I saw somebody in it. You know, Kind of like the old school bone shaker one I was talking about. Instead, you just lounge back. You got a proper you just lounge back. The pedals are in front of you, but the wheels are either side. So the pedals are kind of in the middle. The wheels are that, and you just pedal, but while being reclined. It is much fun when you're wearing like lycra. Yeah, I don't know. Never really wore the stuff, but probably best not to have a curry the night before, though. If that's the case. Though, if you do have one, it might propel you a little faster. Who knows? You maybe build it up and then let a big one go and then catapult yourself. Might work. Though other things may happen as well, so it's not a recommended idea. Don't do what I just said there, as I think that was completely off. Please don't do that. Oh, heaven forbid. Isn't lycra meant to kind of breathe, help you sweat less or something? To kind of absorb all your sweat and stuff like that. Yes, I said curry. Yes. I don't know how to respond to that, but yes, that's what I said. I told Mark not to have a curry before he rides his bike. Okay. Oh. Sorry. We're a bit. I'm just being silly. But why would I call it silly history if I wasn't being silly? But I'm also giving out some historical facts as well. While doing some extensive research, and I'm actually sort of surprised that bikes don't go back much further, because there's been lots of stuff out there. And what I found was back in 1453, there was apparently a drawing from a student of Leonardo da Vinci. Apparently it was drew up back in 1453, but it took so long for it to come into fruition. But some scientist in 1998 found out that it may well be falsified. It may well be a fraudulent photo that somebody probably wanted to make a bit of money off it. But it is what it is. Because the bike is such a popular thing, why not? If you want to, and people want to know where things come from, that when you're riding a bike, just be glad that you've got pedals and stuff that you can use. Because yeah, I would never, even if I was a bike rider, I would never want to have been on a Drazy. Plus, I'm lazy. I like it to do it all for me. Either get an electric one, just let it, just pre-program it in and stuff like that. I don't know if that's the case nowadays, but why not? Fake news. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of that going around, it seems. Noodle is pretty... Oh, hang on, you're on Kitten Academy now, aren't you? Anna always called it Pancake Day. Okay. Sorry, I think I'm jumping in between conversations. Steve, you have a BMX and they're cool. You can do stomp someone. I can do stumps. I've got a skateboard as well. Wow, you really are a cool dude, aren't you? You're going out, showing off some tricks. See you on the Olympics at some point, doing all them fancy flippy flips and stuff up and down, you know? Yeah. Maybe. Who knows? Go on. Give it a go. I'll get your confidence up a little bit. MLG, hey! Wasn't sure if you were showing up, but it's great to see you. It's always great to see you. I'm sorry if I've not said hello to everybody. I'm sorry if I've missed some of you guys out, but I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. If I haven't said hello to you, or if I haven't responded to you, just keep saying it. Just keep asking the question, and eventually I'll see it, and eventually I'll probably be able to give you an answer, or I'll tell you if I can't. Well, I'll just hope that somebody else can give you the answer, because there's smarter people here than I am. I'm only going off what I've researched, and I think I've pretty much gone through all that research. But now I'm just having fun reading about everybody's bike stories. Ramen. I don't even know what ramen is. Is that? I'm guessing that's a cat treat, isn't it? That's a cat or kitten treat. Because I had the mailbag on in the background and heard Mr. A keep shouting the word ramen. So it was either he was giving out treats, or it was the name of a new cat that was coming in. Who knows? Maybe there will be a cat called Ramen coming in soon. Ramen is noodles. Noodles. Oh, okay, right. Oh my lordy lord, Mark, what are you doing? Why can't a bicycle stand up on its own? Because it's too tired. Oh, very, very good though. Very good. I'll give you a round of applause. Hope you're bowing. Or if you sat down, probably best not to bow, or else you'll break your back. Probably best. Or you'll headbutt yourself. I don't know. I don't know what position you're in. Oh, yeah, the dad jokes are coming out. Sorry, you're gonna have to keep with us dad jokes, Mark, because I can't think of any on the spot. But I think I've done more than my duty here. But yes, congratulations, Sir Mark. Sir? I've just knighted you. No. You like real ramen made by hand, not the pre-packed dry noodles one. I suppose the homemade stuff is usually best, isn't it? When you make the meal yourself. I'm guessing, because I don't know personally, because usually in our family we kind of cheat. We buy all the pre-packaged stuff and everything, and I just see it as long as we can eat, I'm all right with that. I mean, I've obviously learned a new appreciation for it because I work in a food bank, so I talk to a load of people who struggle. So when I hear them, I tend to not be too as fussy as I used to be with food, knowing that there is people out there who can't afford to be fussy. They've got to just have what is given to them. And they're usually very respectful, and they take their food parcels, and I assume they'll take them home and they eat their food, and I give them good conversation. I'll keep them busy for a little while, and I'm happy to do that. Happy to just chat with. Oh, another Mark. Hey, it's a Markism. Actually, no, I better not do that one because that's a totally different thing altogether. You're definitely not going that way. Heaven forbid. No. How did the barber win the bike race? He took a shortcut. Oh no, you're doing it again. You got it. Oh, what's the difference between a poorly dressed man on a tricycle and a well-dressed man on a bicycle? Attire. Oh my. Oh, here it goes. Why did the bicycle go to the psychiatrist? It had psychological problems. Oy, oy. Wow. I don't know what to say to that. You've got me speechless. And that's bad for a live streamer. MLG should have said the second bit. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, you sent something in, didn't you, Joanne? You sent something in on Mailbag. I heard your name mentioned. I'm sorry I didn't hear the poem, but yeah. Steve, dude, what was it like when you was at school? It was probably the same as it is now at my school. Oh, it depends on what you want as like, what similarities, because at the end of the day for school it was just go to school, learn stuff, moan about school. Pretty much on those lines. It was frustrating the learning how to use a uniform though. But thankfully we didn't have to go full out blazer in that. As long as we wore, it was black, white, or gold that we had to wear, because when I was in school, gold was one of our colours, one of my school's colours. So you could wear any of the three, as long as, well, your trousers had to be black, because you don't want to go in looking like Pee Wee Herman, essentially. So you want to. So it's usually black trousers, a polo shirt of some kind, and just generally looking respectable. Yeah, well, to be fair, I don't fully know what schools are like. Your thing is, in your school position, you've got more modern technology and stuff, computers and stuff are more in for you now. When I was at school, computers were a fairly newish thing, but it was more of a blessing to be able to use one. You more had to kind of be hoping for an opportunity to play around on the computer. But nowadays, most of things you do is probably on a computer. So yeah, I'm only 34. So yeah, it's probably changed a fair bit, but also stayed the same. But again, it depends in what area we're talking about. Because I mean, remember you mentioned about Ofsted coming in and that. And, oh, that's always a tricky one. I always know that you always find them in the class. You never know when you're gonna find them sat in the corner. It's amazing how you notice the teacher starts getting all antsy and they start getting all professional. They don't be as relaxed as you could be. One of the most relaxed teachers. As soon as Ofsted are coming in, you suddenly change, because you want to make a good impression, because you want to make sure the school looks good, because you get rated. Well, at least they did when I was at school anyway. Ofsted was, they were, if you were caught out doing something wrong, they were right on your case. Moutley, you hated school. Okay. Well, You were at school in the 1950s. Okay, so a tiny bit older then. A lot of Japanese restaurants on the menu. And we're still on the ramen. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, it's disappointing, but Teaspoon hasn't been feeling great for a while. He'd been on and off with his feelings and everything, but it's a shame that it had to happen. He was a blessed kitten. He had a great house, and he was a very, very cute kitten, and he was going to be a great cat one day. Please don't get me all emotional now. We call our laptops at work wooden tops because they never work properly. We had Ofsted just before Christmas. Oh yes, Mark, you're a teacher. Of course you'd have that situation. So yes, I think it's well, Steve mentioned about Ofsted coming in a few weeks, so I'm guessing he was in a similar situation. Guessing that was a similar situation. But I don't strike you, Mark, as going all bad guy on people, but it must be a bit nerving knowing that you're the one being reviewed. Though I assume that they are reviewing the class itself as well, so can't see you being the bad teacher. You do all right you do all right from what I've seen anyway when you get up and chat. I think I'd like to have had you as a school teacher, maybe though. It may have felt I might have felt different though if I was one of the children in the school. Typewriters? What's a typewriter? I'm kidding. I know what a typewriter is, but I've never actually used it. The stats tests that you have to do many. They do your head in, do they? Any test did my head in, to be fair. You sat in a room, well, you sat in a hall with a tiny table, and you're expected to just do a test on that. It just doesn't. I couldn't handle. It's hard to handle the pressure. It's probably why I did terrible at school. But I got through school. It's a shame how all the friends that you get at school, you never see them again, or you occasionally hear from them. That's why I'm trying to tell people just to stay in school, enjoy school, because just to protect yourself, because be prepared to try and make new friends. That's the thing about people don't understand about school. They need to respect all the friends that they've got. They're all learning curves at the end of the day. Sorry, Mark. I didn't want to do that like that. But I'm sure you are a great teacher. I never really asked him what lessons you fully teach, because I usually see you just walking around with your, as you call them, with your troop. That's how you refer to them. I guess you just, either way, you do from what I see, you do a good job at it. You're very caring. I don't know. Hang on. 59 minutes? Where's the time gone? Oh, an egg. Oh, the best test you did at school was the fire alarm. I'm guessing you meant teacher loves you. Oh wow. How do I end us now? Because we're all having a great chat now. It's, you've all been wonderful, and I've enjoyed talking with you as always. It always feels a shame to let it all end. But I've really enjoyed tonight for sure. And yeah, I'm glad you've all shown up, and I'm glad a lot of people have shown up, and I just hope and pray that you'll come again next month, next month we're going for football, which is, I know, quite a topic for people, but it was suggested by Jana's son, Ruben. He suggested football, so I'm going to do football. I'm not going to play football in front of the camera. I don't want to embarrass myself. No, we're just going to talk about the history of football. But where did football come from? You will have to join me next month if you want to find out. Oh, look at you. Okay, well. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Now, everybody, on your bike. See ya.